Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. I'm going to start this video off with an announcement of another live stream with Lee Barrett from the Barrett channel, Alex from Reporterfy Media, and Daniel Dumbrill, and yours truly, Gweilo 60. It's going to be this Saturday, March the 14th at 7 o'clock China time. I know, 6 o'clock Thai time. I got to get up early. That's not bad. Alex is in the Maldives right now, and he's got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, so what's that Pacific time? Pacific time, California time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on March the 13th. 7 o'clock Atlantic time on March the 13th. And in the UK, 11 p.m. Yeah, later on at night. What's this live stream about? Well, it's about the Chinese miracle and what the Western world could learn from China after this ordeal with this CV virus. Yeah, and we'll be answering questions. We're going to be discussing the topics, and come join us. And that's basically what this video is about. The blame game has to stop. The rest of the world thinks that it's China's fault that this virus hit. No, it could have hit anywhere. Remember back in 2009 when H1N1 swine flu hit Southern California, northern Mexico? Yeah, whose fault was that? Wasn't the Chinese. Was there a blame game going on then? Absolutely not. Were there quarantines? No. What was there? Head in the sand. That's exactly what there was. What I think is going to stop this blame game is that China had 8 new cases in one day. Yeah, in Hubei province. Get out of here. It looks like they've got this sucker under control. So the blame game is going to stop, and people are going to start looking at China and saying, how did you do that? Can you teach us something? Can we see what you did? How can we do what you did? Yeah, so you see, it's not the blame game anymore. It's watching China and finding out how they beat this. And they're going to quickly find out that it's not an easy task. China had to quarantine 60 million people. China had to shut down their economy. China had to deal with things like mass logistics of food to quarantine people, building hospitals in a matter of a week, places where they could house literally tens of thousands of people in their hospitals. You think the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, any of these places are going to be doing something like that? No. What they're going to do is they're going to stop airplanes from coming into their country like Trump did today. No more travel from Europe to the United States. What does he think? Americans don't have the virus? This is your leader, guys. The closing of businesses, to the closing of schools, to not having people leave their homes to go shopping, to wearing masks, to taking temperatures everywhere you go, into Walmart, into the airport, into a bus station, all of these things. You think the Americans are going to put up with that? You can't go home. What do you mean I can't go home? I'm on a vacation in, let's say, Thailand. Well, no, you can't go home. Or I'm in Italy, you can't go home. I'm in France, you can't go home. No flights from Europe to the United States. So I look at it as they're going down the wrong road already. No flights in, no flights out. Sure, that's fine, but what about the people that are there? You're not quarantining the people in the country. If you don't quarantine the people in the country that have the virus, they're just going to spread it around. So people aren't going to bring it into the country. They're just going to spread it around your own country. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's so damn hot out there. I had to just find a place to sit down with an ice cold little beer. Oh yeah. See, it's only 5 to 2, so I guess it's still legal to buy a beer. But I come buy beers here all the time, just for the fact that they don't have those rules and regulations that 7-Eleven and Family Mart, lots of stores around here will not sell you a beer between 2 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I find that ridiculous. Because my buddy Alex is sort of like a financial wizard, trader at night, YouTuber during the day type guy. I've been watching the financial markets a little bit more than I usually would. 20% down since last month, and like we're talking 20.3% down, 20% down, 20.7% down. Holy moly! And I don't think it's going to stop there. The whole world is frying on like it's like an egg on a frying pan. This is your money on the financial market. This is your money on, well, you know what I mean. If anybody's watched that Canadian commercial. And now the first case on Vancouver Island. Yes, they've got a number of cases across Canada. And what are they doing when people come to their borders from, and I gotta say it, from China, Iran, Japan, South Korea, all these countries that have major problems with this virus. They say, well, we're not going to quarantine. We're not going to say you can't come in. What we're going to do is we're going to educate you on how not to spread it. If you think you're sick, self-quarantine yourself. A little too little, little too late. When you get into the Chinese system, it's like you come here, you're under quarantine, going to Beijing, 14 frickin' days, buddy. I think that's what the rest of the world is missing, not understanding that China actually shut down the population all over the country for 2 months. So if you have a virus, 14 days later, you're basically clear. And that's what they had to do to the entire country. I know in Nanning they were doing that. They were quarantining people. In Hubei province, the whole freaking province was basically quarantined. And obviously it worked. Now we've got people running around the United States, Europe, Italy, France, wherever, Canada. And they just say, oh, well, we'll educate them. Well, it's not going to work. If you don't quarantine these people, it's going to go everywhere and everybody's going to get it. And then what are you going to do with these shitty little hospitals that can't keep up at the best of times? And you got an epidemic, a pandemic on your hands? Leadership. We're lacking leadership in the West. And the world out there thinks China is financially devastated. Well, you're probably right. They are financially devastated. But think about this. First one in, first one out. China was the first one into the CV problem, and they're going to be the first one out of it because of how they've dealt with it. And their economy is going to be the first one to rebound. What is that going to do? Like, seriously, what is that going to do? Is that going to catapult them ahead of the United States? Wait and see. This could get really, really interesting. So when it comes time to figure out what can the West, the rest of the world, not just the West, but the rest of the world learn from China, how to deal with this, watch, learn, see what they've done. Don't judge them, but watch them. And they'll quickly tell you exactly what they did. They have no problems sharing with the rest of the world. They know that everybody out there is hurting, and both financially, losing loved ones. This is a bad thing. This is a pandemic, and it's something that has to be dealt with by everybody in the world. So watch, learn. Just because they're Chinese, just because it's a communist government, doesn't mean that you can't learn from these people. So take off that superiority hat and help your people. And that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit your subscribe button. Don't forget to resubscribe, because undoubtedly a lot of you have been unsubscribed without your knowledge. Make a comment, hit the bell, and don't forget to put a couple of bucks on the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. Poor rural Chinese kids. Give them a break, guys. Have a heart. Thanks very much. Bye now. So if there's anything that you don't agree with in this video, because it's along the same lines as what our live stream is going to be on Saturday morning, yeah, at 7 o'clock China time, 6 o'clock Bangkok time. My God, I gotta get up early. Oh well, no big deal. I can go back to sleep afterwards. Then you can go on the live stream and ask questions about anything that I say on this video today. Now the world is interested in how China put that genie back in the bottle. Well, stay tuned for this live stream because we're going to be able to tell you that. Here's something. Like, look at the size of the engine on this boat. Like, seriously. Oh, big block V8. That would be like sticking I don't know, a 454 engine in a frickin' Datsun. Look at this boat, ain't very big. Streamlined. Yeah, I want one of those. Oh, and one of the things that I feel or see that is sort of interesting is when Wei Fang and I are cruising around Pattaya or Bangkok, we hit hotel rooms, we hit restaurants, we hit shopping malls, and everybody looks at Wei Fang and starts talking to her in Thai, and because they think that she's my Thai wife or girlfriend, whatever, and she looks at them like, I'm Chinese. But you see, now she's starting to get used to it, and it's sort of funny because she'll just sit there and wait for them to finish talking, and then she'll say, I'm Chinese. You know what I mean? I just had to get that off my chest.